My dear viewers, I warmly welcome you to my second video tutorial on self-learning course for astrology. In my first video tutorial, I briefly introduced about the history, evolution, and different branches of astrology. In this video tutorial, I am going to briefly introduce you to the very basic principles of astrology. When you understand the basis properly, you will be able to understand rest of the lessons very clearly. So I sincerely request you to watch this video from beginning to ending without any interruption or pause, because it is a continuous flow. When you interrupt the flow, you may miss out some of the key points. So if you understand the basics properly, and then you will be able to follow the rest of the lessons without any problem. The name of this lesson is Magic of 9 and 12. This name may sound weird to you because you may be wondering what is the relation of 9 and 12 with the astrology. But at the end of this lesson, you will be able to appreciate the magic of 9 and 12 not only in the astrology but in the evolution of complete human history. In the complete human history, counting is a revolution which made a significant change and difference for the human beings from the rest of animals. Let's have a brief overview of the concepts that we are going to learn in this lesson. In this lesson, I am starting with history of counting. In history of counting, I am going to explain how did counting has begun and why did people start counting, and what is the major difference between human beings and animals in counting. And then I am going to explain about complete cycle number, then complete object number, and the magic. The magic tells how complete cycle number and complete object number led to the birth of astrology. Let's start with history of counting. To understand the importance and necessity of counting, we need to go back to the early human civilization when the humans were living in the wild in close relationship with the nature, and we need to study their day-to-day life and the challenges they have faced. Only then we can understand and appreciate the importance of counting. The life in the wild was not as comfortable as that of life in city, but definitely it was more challenging and much interesting than that of city life. The early humans did not know cultivation. They were directly depending on the nature. Whatever nature was producing, they were consuming. Their day-to-day job is only to collect the food and to locate and predict when and where which type of food would be available. It was their major challenge. Nature was their enemy, friend, guru, mother, and everything. While living in tune with the nature, the early human beings developed a close relationship with it. They have started observing the patterns and changes in it. They were puzzled by the abrupt changes in the nature. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's very hot, sometimes it rains. They were puzzled by these changes, and over a period of time, they started observing the patterns in it, and they have realized that it's a rhythm. A rhythm is a cyclic repetition of events. So they have identified the rhythms and they started observing it in more precise manner. After the initial understanding of the rhythms, they understood a key concept. A rhythm is something which repeats itself over a period of time. So, if it is repeating itself over a period of time, they should be able to predict what's going to happen tomorrow because it is going to repeat itself. So, They started closely observing as well as recording the patterns to make their life easy because the primitive human beings did not have any shelter. So, if they could predict that it is going to rain tomorrow, they can take precautions to protect themselves from the wrath of rain. The first basic rhythm that the primitive human beings observed successfully after the day and night is the moon phase. They closely observed the moon phases, the waning and waxing of moon, and they have clearly recorded and studied the events that are related to moon. They identified 6 different weather conditions by closely observing the weather, ecology, and the amount of daylight. For each condition, they gave a name and they came up to 6 seasons. So, based on each season, they were able to predict the amount of daylight, the weather condition, and the type of food they get, and the quantity of food they get, and the necessary precautions that they need to take to protect themselves from the weather conditions and the predators. Each season was changing after 2 moon cycles, and the same pattern was repeating after 6 seasons. So, essentially, after 12 moon cycles, the seasons were repeating. This was a remarkable discovery in the entire human history. I believe there is no discovery which is parallel to this. The 12 moon cycles are responsible for everything on the earth. After 12 moon cycles, everything on the earth repeats. The ecology, the food, daylight, the weather pattern, and the life. Everything repeats after 12 cycles. The number 12 is a complete rhythmic number, or we can say it is the complete cycle number. They managed to find the ultimate truth by observing the weather patterns. Once they discovered the ultimate truth that everything on the earth is a rhythm, and these rhythms have a direct relationship with the movement of sun and moon in the sky, they were completely baffled. Their curiosity has doubled, and they started turning their attention towards the sky to unfold the mysteries, to understand how the universe works. They dedicated their entire lives to understanding this mystery. So they have started observing the objects in the sky and started linking with them to the patterns on the earth. They clearly understood that the sun and the moon are directly controlling the seasons on the earth. So they wanted to know whether there are any more objects in the sky that are responsible for the rhythms on earth. They closely and keenly, patiently observed all the objects in the sky and they recorded their patterns as well. In their research, they found that in the sky there are 2 types of objects. Some move and some doesn't move. So they concluded that the rhythm is a movement, the objects that are moving only can cause a rhythm on the earth. If an object is at a fixed point during all the time, it cannot cause a change because its position is not changing. So, an object that is moving only can cause a change in the weather. So, They took away the stars from the objects responsible for rhythms, and they added few more objects for rhythmic patterns. They named the objects for responsible for rhythms as planets and the objects that doesn't move as stars. If you see the Sanskrit words, the Sanskrit word for star is nakshatra. The word nakshatra has a definition as given below in the Sanskrit text. Nakshatra means naksharati, which doesn't move, and planet means which moves and which grasps. They spent several thousands of years looking at the sky to find out all the objects responsible for the rhythms on earth, and over a period of time they came up with 7 objects that are responsible for all the rhythms on earth: the sun, moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. Also, they observed two more patterns or two more objects. They are the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. They gave great importance to these two events in the sky because they were terrified when the sun was completely dark for some time during the day. So they experienced the night in the middle of the day. So they were completely baffled by the power of this event. The sun and the moon are the two most important planets which are responsible for all the rhythms, and these two events, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, have tremendous impact to influence these cycles. So they wanted to consider these two events in order to understand the cycles more precisely. As these two events are caused by shadows, they gave two different names to these two shadows and they considered them as a planets. They are Rahu and Ketu. You will see lot of stories about Rahu and Ketu in ancient Vedic literature as well as the ancient stories and literature all over the world. Because the sun and the moon are most powerful planets out of the 7, and these two most powerful planets are afraid of these two shadows. These two shadows has the power to control the two most powerful planets. So they added these two shadow planets into the objects that are controlling the rhythms. They have completed the research and understood the magic finally. The 12 rhythms are responsible for everything on the earth. But these 12 rhythms are not ultimate. These 12 rhythms have direct relationship with the movement of 9 objects in the sky. The 7 planets and 2 shadows. So these 9 objects have direct control over these 12 rhythms, and these 12 rhythms have direct control over the earth. So ultimately the 9 objects are ruling everything on the earth. This is a great breakthrough discovery in the entire human history, and all this credit goes to those primitive human beings who spent their entire life understanding this ultimate truth. Let's have a close look at the 12 and 9 relationship. While the earth is revolving around the sun, the moon is revolving around the earth. and by the time the Earth completes one full revolution around the Sun, the Moon makes 12 complete revolutions around the Earth. So, this 12 is coming from this relationship. The Moon takes approximately 29.53 days to make a complete revolution around the Earth, and the Earth takes 365.25 days to make a complete revolution around the Sun. If you divide the Sun period by the Moon period, you will get 12.49, and by eliminating the fraction, we are left out with the 12, and this 12 is the basis for controlling all the rhythms on the earth. Now you know why an year has 12 months and a clock has 12 divisions inside it. The circle is divided into 360 degrees. Each degree corresponds to a day. Because the earth is taking 360 days approximately to make a complete revolution, they thought that the circle should be divided into 360 parts, and they called each degree as a each part as a degree. The word degree has direct root from day, and because the 12 is a complete rhythmic number, they divided the year into 12 months, because after 12 months the seasons repeat themselves. So it is, so the year is divided into 12 months, and the month is divided into 4 weeks. Here the division is not based on 4 but based on 7, because the 12 cycles on the earth are directly controlled by 7 physical planets and 2 shadow planets. The 2 shadow planets don't have any direct control over any rhythms on the earth, but they are controlling the rhythms by controlling 2 key planets, the sun and the moon. As they don't have any direct relationship with the rhythms on earth, they took away these 2 shadow planets, the Rahu and Ketu, and they gave each day to a planet, the sun, moon, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus and Saturn, and they try to fit these 7 days into a month. A month has approximately 30 days, and when they fit 7 days into 30 days, then they try to fit 7 days into a moon cycle, they got 4 weeks. So this is the basis of calendar structure. And when they tried to divide the day, they took day as 2 parts, the daytime and the nighttime. The daytime is divided into 12 hours, because the 12 is a complete cycle number. You will see that 12 repeating itself again and again in the time and the rhythms. The day is divided into 12 and the night is divided into 12. When you want to count some objects like a herd of animals, a group of birds, or a group of stones, you should not use number 12 as the base, because the 12 is only related to rhythms. You have to use 9, because 9 is a complete object number. That object 12 is a slave to 9, because the 12 rhythms are due to the movement of 9 objects. 9 objects have direct control over 12. So 9 is superior to 12. So 9 is the base. You need to use 9 while counting all the objects and while counting any cycles or rhythms or any event that is repeating over a period of time again and again, you have to use 12. You will see 9 and 12 interchanging and blending into each other when you closely observe the nature. Finally, you have understood the magic numbers 9 and 12. Now, just try to mix 9 and 12. You will see the complete universe. When you mix 9 and 12 and do permutations and combinations, you can derive everything. You can derive the life. You can derive the human body. You can derive the earth. You can derive the solar system. You can bring everything from the combination of 9 and 12. So this 9 and 12 combination is considered very sacred. If you add 9 and 12, you will end up with 21. The number 21 is a sacred number in all the religions. Especially in Vedic religion, it is a very sacred number because it has complete object number, has complete cycle number. If you see the horoscope, the zodiac is divided into 12 signs because the 12 is a complete cycle number which is controlling the rhythms. After 12, there is nothing new, everything repeats itself. So, they divided the zodiac into 12 signs, and each sign has the characteristics of the month. Each sign corresponds to the month in the year. They closely observe the month characteristics and properties and assign the properties of month to the sign. After the initial understanding of 9 and 12 and the importance of rhythms, the early human beings got a big question when the 12 rhythms or 6 seasons control everything on the earth, like the amount of daylight, the ecology, and all other things. Why not their personal life? This question led to the invention of astrology. After this question, they studied the movement of objects in the sky and they